Okay, so putting the espresso machine together, or back together, isn't as straightforward as putting the grinder back together, because I have some other bits and pieces that need to be integrated into this bit, before it all goes back together. So let's have a little closer look at this. So here are the Gaggia Classic Pro internals, E24 internals that we've already removed, and we want to add all these wires and this sensor, and we want to add this screen, and we want to add this sensor, and this relay, and this plumbing, and this brain. Yeah. Might need some coffee first. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to put some software onto these, and we do that by a process called flashing. So I've already done the screen, but it's exactly the same process for doing the module, and there was a little delay in doing this because this one. So when I went to flash this, you can see here this little guy. Yeah, he's a little bit broken. Contacted GaggiMate, went onto their Discord, they sorted it out straight away, and a week later this guy turned up and he's all good. So the screen is flashed. We need to flash this. So the process is USB-C. Connect it in there, and then using a Google Chrome browser, we go to the GaggiMate website, we go to documentation, we go to flashing on the left-hand side, and then we'll get to this page here. So we scroll down, we have two buttons, flash display and flash controller. So first of all, I'm going to locate the boot button. When I plug this into the computer, I'm going to make sure that I'm pressing that boot button down. So a little awkward with the camera, but let's do that. So hold the boot button down, and I think that should be sufficient. So let's try flash controller. There's the guy, connect. Install GaggiMate controller, install. And there we go, installation complete. And then we can just close that, and we can just disconnect this here. And that's the flashing done. These are now ready to be installed. Okay, so you download some files from the GaggiMate website, and then you pass them to a 3D printer, and it will spit out this. Now, my 3D printer has seen better days, and I was running out of filament, so I just used what I had, and yeah, so we have this. I've already mounted this inside. Now, normally there's little plastic tabs, but again, print quality, they just snapped off. So I just put some little holes in there and put some PC screws in. And on the back, I just glued some magnets so it's easy to secure on the inside. But we are ready to start wiring this. So these are all the cables that come with it. So this one here, the green and black one, with these on the end, these will eventually go to ground and switches, the switches that were on the front of the GaggiMate. And just checking the documentation again. So yeah, these are going to plug into this this top block here. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, and just something to push that down with and secure it in. Make sure it's seated correctly. Yeah. Okay, that's in, and that's not going anywhere. Okay, so that is at one set. The next one here, now this is, this will connect to this relay, and this is what will control the boiler going on and off. And that connects up here. So this top one here in the middle, that's where that connects to. These have little white clips on them, so you can only put them in one way. So it's you won't connect them the wrong way around. So that guy goes in there. We also have the power for the screen. So so again, if I bring the screen over here a second, this big plug here on the side here, that's where this will plug into, and that will provide power. The screen doesn't actually have any data connectivity to here. The screen actually has a Bluetooth module in, and so does this, and they pair over Bluetooth and do some magic. So back to this end. So this end will connect in here. Make sure these are all nice and secure. So what else have we got? So these cables, these are the yellow ones. They will go to the other side of the relay and go to the boiler, the heating element. So that can just we'll put that to one side for a minute. We have the temperature sensor. Not going to connect that just yet because we need to screw it into the boiler. Then it will connect into here, and we have this pressure sensor. This pressure sensor will also connect into here somewhere as well. I'll point to the exact spots out when I actually plug them in. And then these remaining cables here are the high voltage cables that will go in here. So when you turn the machine on, this will power on, and yeah. So we'll have a quick look at the guts of the machine over here, and these are the connectors from the back of the switches. So we've got power, coffee, and steam. And I labeled these at the top, so the label I put at the top. So from the GaggiMate documentation, this cable here would be C1, C2, C4, and C5. And over here, again at the top, S1, S2, S3, S4, and S5. So disconnect these two connectors from the temperature sensor and connect these together with the small red cable. Okay. So you can go out of the way. Then with a 17mm spanner, ignore my custom one here, we're going to remove this. There may be some water in here, let's find out. Oh no, there won't be. Okay, excellent. Okay, so we don't need this anymore. And we can fit this. Now, on other guides, I've seen people mention to use a bit of thermal paste on here. None came with the kit, but I am tempted to go find a little bit of PC thermal paste. So let me pause the video. Thermal paste. So I'm just going to take a bit of this and put a little tiny bit on there. Ooh, messy stuff. Okay, and then we're just going to wind this in. Okay, and a 9mm spanner. Not super tight, just snug. So that is the thermal coupler fitted. Now, the two yellow cables that we've just connected to this relay, we are going to remove the two steam thermostat connections here. So they'll just pull off, and it doesn't matter which way around that we connect these, but these will just go straight into here, like so. Like so. This is the end of the thermal coupler, and these are simply going to connect into these two big ports here. So the positive goes at the top and the negative at the bottom, and in this case the positive is red. So these are quite simple to connect. Put them into the holes, pull that lever and it will go in deeper, pull that lever and it goes in deeper, and then they get clamped into position. In theory, they get clamped into position. Let's try that again. And there we go. It's time to start tackling the switches. So let me just move that a little bit more center. Okay. So step one is find the steam switch, identify S5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which should be this white cable here. Now you can get toolkits for removing these spade connectors from this type of connector, but I'm just going to put this flathead screwdriver down there, lever it up a little bit, and it will pop out, I hope. There we go, like that. Then we're going to take this this white cable and the blue cable out the kit that has no end on it. Connect that here. Don't worry about any connectors that are left exposed. I have a load of heat shrink and I will tidy it all up at the end. The other end of this blue cable, we can now give this a little twist before pulling it off. Okay, and this will go to the neutral connector on the controller. So the neutral is the one, I don't know whether you can see that N there, but it's the second one up. So you should just have to pull this guy down. I'm going to do that a little bit harder. 1 second. There we go. So still looking at the S1 switch assembly here, or socket assembly. So we need to remove S1 and S4. So get used to doing this soon. One. Okay, so the this green cable we do aside with, and we take the black cable and we put that back into, so S4 to S1 basically. So that goes in there, and we should look like that. So we're looking at the coffee brew switch. I've already loosened the pins so you're not seeing me faffing around on camera, but we're going to use this little yellow cable here, and we're going to remove C1 and C2, so that's the green and blue cables at the back, and then we will just connect them together with the little yellow cable here, and again heat shrink will be applied to make that safe. Now that brown cable was coming from C4, which we also need to remove. So remove C4, and we should have a grey cable in the kit. So this grey cable can now be connected to there, and the other end of this grey cable will go to our controller board here, and it goes into the very bottom connection here that says live. So again, I'm just going to twist this plastic to make the wire nice and neat, and these require a reasonable amount of force, so I'm just going to use a screwdriver to push this down. Oops. And we're secure. So these green and black cables that come from the controller here, so these are if we want to maintain the function of the buttons, we need to reconnect these up. So the green cable that comes from the inner side, that is for the steam function. Yeah, just check the notes. That's for the steam. So that needs to go to the steam switch. So we're going to go to the to this side of the steam switch, and just pop this guy in. That is a little annoying. It's a different type of spade connector and no longer secures in there. So we might have to use a little bit of hot snot or something to secure that in there, but I'm just going to wedge it in there for now with that plastic sleeve on, and we'll sort that out properly later. So the other green one, we need to take one of the grounds, and that will go to that side. So that's S1, 2, 3, so 4 and 5. And then if we go to the coffee brew switch, we can do the same thing. So this time we're going to S1 and S2. So S1 and S2. So for final assembly, I'll make sure that they're properly secured into these switches. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the plumbing parts. So I'm going to loosen this screw here. I'll say loosen, remove. And then we can rotate this round and we can have a look at this pump a little bit better. So let's try and remove the entire pump. So pull that end off there, then this should be able to flap out there, and then we can right, how's this come off then? Pause. Okay, so we've got the 12mm spanner, and we're just going to hold that there, and so we're going to put that's 90 there, then this, and then this. So we can connect this up, I think. Does that rotate? No, it's big enough. Okay. So, PTFE tape. So we'll okay, so the kit comes with this PTFE pipe cutter. So let's just clean up this end so it's nice and fresh. And we don't need too much length here. So here's the sensor that we're on, right? So I'm gonna say we only, I think that should be more than enough. And that just pushes in there, and then you lever that bit out a little bit. Okay, that's in. And last bit of PTFE taping to do. And then that will just push on there, pull that bit, and that's it. Plumbing is done. So we can reassemble this bit. So before we put all this back together, it'd be easier now just to finish this little bit of wiring here. So I'm going to take the red cable, push this way a little bit, which is the live, and I'm going to remove this this grey connector from the pump, and that guy can go in there. Same as all the other times. Let's wind that bit of plastic off. And we're looking for the, oh, it's not live. What is it? Valve. All right, so we connect to the V, no, P. I'm making no sense. This needs to go to P pump. So P pump is the top one. So pressure on that one to open that up. In it goes, and we're locked in. Okay, the last cable to do, may as well do that now. I'll connect the other end up in a second, but let's see the green one. open that guy right up. In it goes. Okay. Now, in theory, oh, we got that to connect up. Let's do that as well, and then we can finish this part off. Black, green, red, starting from the top, right? So we're looking at these little pins here, and we're going to start at the top with black, then green, then red. So these have been soldered and they're not quite as flat as they could be. Let's try shape them a little bit with the pliers. There we go, magical. Okay, so black. Just give that a second. Green. Green. And red. Okay, and there's all the cables wired up there. So we can now put the little case cover on. I think we're going to split the cables out so they look like that. There's a good look at it. So power for screen, relay control, the high voltage stuff, thermocoupler, pressure sensor, and the switches. So we take the little cover, make sure that we're not pinching any cables too hard, like that. So a little bit more, few things to do on this end and mount the pump again, but we're getting closer. Okay, quick correction. I got the pump and the valve the wrong way around, so these red and green cables need to be swapped. So just make a note for that. So now that I've swapped them around the right way, we can now take this green cable and this will go to where we removed the grey cable on the pump. So that goes on there like that. And okay, take this hose again and reattach it to the bottom of the pump. And orientate the pump so it's facing, let's see. Right, yeah, so we need to rotate that all the way around. So facing here, I can go over there. That green cable. Come around here with the rest of them. Okay, and so we're not trapping everything. Pop this screw back down here. And line up with that hole. And then we can screw that back down. Okay. Okay, I'm going to tidy this up a little bit, put some heat shrink where I need to, and then we can start putting it back inside of the case. But, yeah. Voiceover Yale here. Just to keep the video moving, I'm going to fast forward this bit. All I'm doing is making sure all the connections are safe and putting a bit of heat shrink on them to protect them. Okay, so we're ready to reassemble and put all the internals back in. So we're going to start from, well, reverse order. Some feet first. Okay, now the badge. So the badge goes on the front. Through those holes, and then we need to flip it over and we'll just rest it on this bit of wood. And take the retaining plate thing, sit that on top of those pins. Hammer. Little rattle, but that's fine. That's not going anywhere now, that's secure. So, some LED light lenses. You know, before we put all this in, I think I'm going to carefully connect up some mains power and just check that this is all right, because I can't remember which light was which, and I just want to make sure we get the lights the right way around. So let us do that. Okay, let's watch for the magic smoke to escape. Okay, turning on. Nothing too terrible so far. And the power switch. Okay, we've got power coming to this. We've got two LED lights here, so I'm guessing that's the coffee light. Why isn't this booting? Okay, after a little bit of troubleshooting, where I had flashed the wrong image onto the controller, so I just hopped onto the Discord. The guys were super helpful and sorted me out at no time. So the boiler, so the power and the steam lights are meant to come on, and you can see that on the display here, it's basically looking good and ready to go. So I'm going to I'm really confident that everything else is going to work now, so I'm going to turn it off, disconnect it safely, and put it all back in that box. Oh, and mark the lights before I forget. So I think that is steam, and yeah, that is power, and that is coffee. Okay, so I'm just going to lift it all up and put it in. Oh, the boiler is working now. It's got hot quick. Right. Okay, so I've dropped that back into position. It was a little bit difficult to grip. Make sure I've still got all the right wires accessible. Making sure that I'm not trapping any wires neither. Okay, so Allen key. So yeah, that needed to be like on it when it went in. Let's fix that. We've got 3 stainless steels and 2 regular steels, and these ones go on the inside and those ones go on the group head. The power switch next, so that just goes in the back here, and push clip. Let's try tackling the switches and the LEDs. So power LED goes there. Okay, so drop this down into position, and then those LEDs clip into the light holders, those LED lenses. Okay, switches. Okay, power switch. Okay, so clip from the front, badge, lights, buttons. We've got the steam knob to go on the side there. So what have we got left here? 2 screws, a bracket, a washer, and a steam knob. Right, where do they come from? Might need to watch the video back to find out where they went. So I'm just connecting up the kettle lead at the back there, so there's live. Earth and neutral. Okay, so I want those cables going at the top. Last couple of bits now is to attach this here. think I'm going to do that with a single M4 bolt. Let me go get one. Just remember what those 2 screws are for. And there it is right here. So connect these 2 earth tabs to here. Put that in the wrong place. Can't put this in with that there. Great. Essentially, that is all back together except for the 2 screws that are in there, which I won't put in just yet. And this for the steam on. How did that work? Let's turn it on. Light and steam light. GaggiMate starting. And we can touch to start. Okay. So let's just try run it and see whether we get any leaks. While that's just heating up, so this is the other 3D printed part that you can download from the GaggiMate website. It's a little housing that will fit into here, and then that will clip on there like that. I'm not sure I like that, and you still have the cable sort of like poking and sticking out the side and goes in here. I'm thinking I will put a hole in the side. And I've also 3D printed this clamp, so I've got this wooden ball which I can clamp, and then I can do some machining on there, some drilling, to basically allow that to go into the ball, and then we'll rotate the ball and run it through the saw to put a flat edge on that way, and I think mount it here somewhere. And then got a load of those magnets, and we can use those magnets to hold it in place. Okay, looks like we're at temperature, so oh, yeah, let's go. So it looks like it's all back together and it's all working. Need to have a little play around with this. It needs to be connected to the Wi-Fi. It needs Bluetooth setting up. I have these Buku scales as well. They will pair to this via Bluetooth too. So I need to set that up and get that fitted and drip trace the whole way around. But yeah, back in a minute. So I've got our wood sphere in the 3D printed clamp and clamped, and I've got a 75mm Forstner bit. So going to do the initial cut with that. I've done lines from corner to corner to mark out a centre spot on the top of the sphere there, so I've got somewhere to aim at. Take enough down so that it's basically flat. So now I'm going to switch over to a 75mm one to take it deeper so the electronics can actually fit inside. Here's the screen. I think the USB port basically goes down here somewhere, so a little bit of sanding on the top there just to make that neat, but yeah, it fits in there quite nice. Maybe drilled a little bit too deep for it. So now I need to decide how to mount. So many weeks have passed, and I think I'm finally coming to the end of this project. Maybe there'll be other stuff in the future, but for now, this is the working setup, and this is everything that completes it. There have been some teething issues. So when I assembled it all together for the first time, I had some leaks, which I'll put some pictures in, but where the 90-degree bend adapter in the kit connects to the top of the pump, didn't seem matter what I did, how tight that was, how much tape that was on it, it would always be leaking. So I got this pack of little clamps off of Amazon. So one of these, round the plastic part, clamp it down really tight onto that 90-degree bend, and that stopped the leaking. The other issue that arose was the pressure sensor just wasn't working at all. And rather than contact the GaggiMate guys and tell them that the pressure sensor wasn't working, then waiting another 2 weeks for a replacement part to come up, it's easy enough just to go on Amazon, search the part, and I had one delivered next day, which I think was about £12. So once the new pressure sensor went in and I got that collet on there, everything sort of started behaving and starting to get decent shots out of it. I'll do a few little pictures of inside and just point out the various bits, and they will appear somewhere here. Some other different things that I've done here is obviously, rather than using the 3D print like housing that sits on here and you have a wire coming up and round, I didn't really like that. So I got this nice wooden ball, and there was a few, I didn't video the troubleshooting in this bit in detail, but there's a few clips that you might have seen of that being made. So all I did was use some Forstner bits to flatten one side off so it fits up nicely against the chassis here, and to make a recess for the actual screen to go in. Then it was just a hole through both, hole to pass the wire, and then a hole to put a screw in to make this secure. Yeah, and then on the grinder here, to help and facilitate the coffee falling out correctly, I just whipped this up in CAD, and 3D printed it. Had to make a small recess in here after, so it clears the switch, and put some rubber feet on the bottom so it didn't vibrate off the table when it was on. But yeah, this is working really well now. The coffee grinds come out, and it's not making a mess, and it's all nice and precise, and I'm getting all the coffee back out that I put in. Yeah. Otherwise, amazing kit. It's really good. It's just fantastic now that it's actually working and running. So I'm going to finish the video up by, one last thing. Because I've only got 2 plugs over there, and I do like to plug in the air fryer as well and other stuff. And now that this has been converted to have a kettle lead on it, I made this 1 plug 2 kettle adapter. So that seems to be working out fine. I don't think there's going to be a problem with the fuse. There's still a 10 amp fuse in there. So yeah, any issues that'll trip before it causes any other issues with the wiring. So yeah, I'm going to close this up for the final time and put those top two screws in, which haven't been back in since it's been stripped down. And I'll finish the video by doing a little montage of knocking out a flat white. Please consider liking and subscribing, and if you enjoyed this video, you might like one of these here. Cheers, bye now.